Most people fail in high-stakes environments because they try to break their opponent's logic. True strategists break their opponent's stamina. Direct opposition triggers fight or flight, but calculated, endless friction triggers cognitive collapse. When you make the process effortless for yourself and exhausting for them, time becomes your greatest weapon. Asymmetric friction is the art of psychological attrition. In this masterclass, discover how to weaponize decision fatigue, harvest sunk costs, manufacture procedural mazes, and force total compliance simply by letting them wear themselves out. Direct rejection gives an opponent something tangible to fight against, fueling their aggressive drive. The bureaucratic maze avoids direct confrontation by hiding behind layers of procedural delays, compliance checks, and formal revisions. When an opponent launches a high-energy push, instead of fighting back, you absorb their energy into an endless web of administrative requirements. You ask for formal clarifications, demand secondary reviews, and introduce small regulatory hurdles. Each step requires them to remobilize their team, rewrite proposals, and burn valuable energy on non-essential mechanics by the time they finally navigate the maze to reach the core issue. The human brain has a strictly limited capacity for making sound decisions in a given period. Decision fatigue harvesting is the practice of bombarding an opponent with dozens of trivial, low-stakes choices before discussing the critical terms. You force them to debate minor technicalities, select secondary features, and review endless granular clauses. While these items seem harmless, each micro-decision drains their mental energy and degrades their executive function by the time you finally introduce the high-value terms. Suffering from severe decision fatigue, their ability to spot hidden traps or hold a firm line vanishes, leading them to rubber stamp your core demands just to stop thinking. Speed creates momentum, but controlled lag creates psychological chaos. Selective responsiveness is the deliberate manipulation of communication rhythms to disrupt an opponent's emotional baseline. Instead of responding immediately to high-pressure demands, you take 3 days to answer a simple email or request a week to review a short document. This calculated lag deprives the opponent of immediate feedbacks, forcing them to spend days trapped in anxious over-analysis. They wonder if they push too hard, if the deal is falling apart, or if you hold superior alternatives. By systematically shattering their internal timeline, you transform their initial eagerness into hypervulnerability, making them eager to compromise the moment you break your silence. A war of attrition only works if you spend significantly fewer resources than your opponent. The friction asymmetry principle ensures that every delay, revision, or procedural hurdle you introduce requires maximum effort from them and virtually zero effort from you. You ask one open-ended question that forces them to restructure their entire financial model. While they are burning capital, working overtime, and stressing their team, you remain entirely passive and well-rested. This massive imbalance in energy expenditure quickly shifts the balance of power. They realize that continuing the battle will destroy their operational capacity, making your terms look infinitely more attractive. The deeper someone invests into a process, the harder it becomes for them to walk away empty-handed. The sunk cost anchor uses calculated friction to force the opponent into pouring massive amounts of time, prestige, and financial capital into the interaction early on. As the negotiation drags forward through endless revisions and meetings, their accumulated investment grows exponentially. Soon, walking away without a deal means admitting to their stakeholders that all those months of effort were completely wasted. This psychological trap locks them into the process. Even as you tighten your conditions near the finish line, their fear of losing their sunk investment overrides their rational judgment, forcing them to accept unfavorable terms rather than abandon the project. The relief exit is executed at the exact psychological moment when the opponent's stamina hits rock bottom, when decision fatigue, timeline stress, and sunk cost panic reach an unbearable peak. Having spent weeks or months navigating your procedural mazes, burning resources, and overanalyzing your silence, the opponent is mentally spent. At this precise junction, you step forward not as an enemy, but as the provider of ultimate relief. You present a clear, streamlined final agreement. While the terms of this document strongly favor your strategic objectives, you package it as a simple, hassle-free resolution that ends all friction immediately. To their exhausted mind, signing your agreement is no longer viewed as a strategic defeat. It is felt as an overwhelming sense of liberation. The psychological relief of closing the file and ending the mental agony far outweighs their desire to fight for minor concessions. They sign swiftly, "Thank you for making it work," and walk away feeling relieved. entirely unaware that their surrender was systematically engineered through the slow, quiet bleed of their strategic stamina.